4 recommendations that I have for all missionaries to do in this December. Okay. The first one is, in the marketing world, people refer to a touch. Like, how many times have you touched somebody? So let's say for us, it's an ask. We're asking for donations. So let's say, I'm going to use the word touch. The first touch that I would recommend is the first week of December is for the missionary to send out a year-end newsletter and just let people know how the year went. Share some of the successes, share some of the struggles, share some personal stories about their family. Just share about the year, bring people up to date, perhaps tease them a little bit about exciting things that are going to happen in the next year. And, and, and that's it. Just share, thank them. So that's touch number 1. Okay. Touch number 2 is the last week of the year. We're going to send another email. Okay. But this email will be very different because the first email, maybe it was a little longer because you were sharing highlights and exciting things. This one is going to be short and sweet. You're basically going to ask for a donation. You're not going to hint about a donation. You're not going to, beat around the bush. No, it is going to be a direct ask. And you're going to say, please prayerfully consider giving to our family, our ministry by the end of this year. Okay. So it's very clear ask.
And I've seen missionaries do this, and I think what's really effective is when they communicate in their normal voice or in the voice that people are used to. Like, I had one friend, he was just known for being a little crazy. So I'm picturing him writing a newsletter like that, and he'd probably be like, you want to give us money, send it now. And he'd be very tongue in cheek, and it would make his donors laugh, and it probably be effective. Whereas with somebody else, maybe they have a softer, gentler tone. So you're just saying, we're talking about everybody just finding their own voice, but communicating that, no matter what your voice or tone is, in a very clear way, maybe with a red giving button. What are some other things they could do to be very clear?
Well, Stephanie, let me give you an example.
Okay.
This was a few years ago. There was a missionary. I'm going to be super vague, so he doesn't know that I'm talking about him. But he sent me an email and said, hey, can you review it, go over it? And so I did. And again, we're great friends. Okay. So a few days later, he messages me, well, what did you think? And I'm like, what do you mean? What did I think? Well, do you think that you might, help with that? And as we're talking, I pull up the email and I'm rereading it because he's asking me about it. And I told him, I said, dear friend, you asked me for nothing. You just shared a story. And so what happens, Stephanie, is that we have to directly ask, because in the reader's mind, they're processing all the information and they're like, oh, that's such a great story. Next, next part of their life. So we do have to, in a sense, we're interrupting them and asking for them to consider something.
And making sure there's clear, easy way to give. Sometimes people will send out a newsletter and forget to put a giving button or a giving link. I mean, that's a lost opportunity too. So
Yeah.
have a friend maybe look that over that email before you send it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me share the third touch. And this is just a personal communication. Perhaps it's just a text, maybe it's a phone call, and just say thank you. This year has been amazing. Thank you for being our partner this year. And then just short and sweet, not big, preferably not through email, because email, they could kind of feel that's not as personal. But as much as you can, touch them through a phone call, through, and if you're in town, visit them and just say thank you.
Okay, so this is different than the other ones because it sounds like in this one it's not an ask, it's simply a thank you. Is there any ask mixed in that thank you?
No, no,
Okay.
because back to the marketing world, they talk about impressions, they talk about touches, and basically what happens is every time that you touch them, every time that they encounter you, the awareness increases in their mind, and but gratitude is so important. Stephanie, I don't know, and I'm sure you can relate with this, how many times I've given a gift and never really heard back, almost as though it was an expectation that I would give. And I think that a thank you goes a long way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, are we doing any more touching? Are we done touching?
Okay, the last one.
There's
Okay, now
one
this
more.
one is a tad controversial. Okay, so let
Okay.
me unpack what I mean by that. Uh, in the last 4 days, through social media, through email, you want to just communicate with your donors and send please give, you know, online giving. So it could be on social media. It could be part of that newsletter that I was talking about. But in a sense, just flood your social media with a request. Now you got to remember that people don't live on social media. Some
Mhm.
people do. Okay, so it could be that you posted it on the fourth to the last day, but
Mhm.
maybe they didn't see it. Post it again on the third to the last day, second to the last day, and the last day. Just flood it. Now on your social media, you'll see give, 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 but in your friend space, maybe they saw it once, maybe twice, but it's not really flooding theirs. Now, what modern day does, and this is why we want them to partner with us. Now, for our missionaries, we're going to provide them with the graphics, okay, so that
Great.
they see it. And I mean, all they got to do is post it. All they got to do is include it in their emails. But what modern day is going to do is we're going to send 3 emails. So we're going to send one on the 28th. And if the person doesn't uh, open it, we're going to send it again. If they don't open it, we're going to send it again. Then 2 days, the second to the last day, we're going to send another email. Same thing. They don't open it. We send it again. We send it again. Then on the last day of the year, we do the same thing. Now that sounds like a lot of emails. Okay. But what happens is that the average donor understands what's happening because we're not the only email that's showing up. They're getting an email from their library asking them to give, from the police fund.
I literally got an
From,
email from my library, so that's super accurate.
so yeah, so they know
I
what's
think I got
happening.
I think I got 3 emails from my library, so great example.
So that's the thing is I know that it feels like a lot is happening, but the reality is that the average person, they're getting flooded with all of these because everybody knows it's year-end giving. And,
Mhm.
and Stephanie, there's actually a group of people out there that might be like me, that I have a certain amount that I want to give by the end of the year. And so I go through and I count up how much I've given, and I'm like, oh my, I still need to give away this much money.
Mhm.
So I'm actually searching in these last few days of the
Mm.
year to give. And this is actually a common practice with many believers, that they're stewards, they plan, they have set amounts, and they, oh my, I've only given 90% of what I want to give. Who
Mhm.
can I give to? Well,
We
you
wanna be
can
ready
be
to
our
receive.
yes.